Hey everyone, this is Sanjay here. So this would be our first event live of this GSOC Extended 2024, and we have a lot of things to share. And we have planned amazing speaker session in the next 10 days before the event gets over. So we can make sure that okay, you guys get the perfect kind of mentorship and guidance beyond the core team or beyond the GSOC team can provide. All right. So the first thing is like try to connect with the speaker. Um, and the session will be recorded as well. You can watch in your comfort zone anytime later on LinkedIn and YouTube. The best thing you can do is like try to network each other. You might see a lot of comments happening below this particular event. So what you can maximum do is like try to do networking, try to get maximum out of this particular session. So before heading to that, I just want to take a 5 minutes on explaining the new updates on the GSOC. So we have launched the Postman Live Challenge just like the last time. The rules, if you are a contributor like the last time, the rules are pretty much same. You get 500 points at the moment when you finish your certification, and there will be questions like, what if you have already done the certification last program? So if you want to get the swags, I would recommend you to try to do the certification again from your secondary email ID or your school email ID or something like that. So that would be easy for you guys to validate this year's certification and get the swags. And regarding the swags update, we will be launching that tomorrow. And I'm just quickly sharing my screen to show you how the Postman Live look like. All right, just give me a minute. So all you need to do is like go to the go to the GSOC summer of code page. If you are not a contributor yet, make sure that click on the register button and click on register as a contributor. The contributor registration is still open till 25th, so make sure that you register for it. So once you register, as usual, you can contribute to the leaderboard. You can see there is like a couple of people already there on the leaderboard right now. And regarding the Postman challenge, we have something called Postman challenge over here. Upon clicking here, this is same information like the last program. We just made it into a web page, kind of integrated into our current web page. So here you will be having the entire details about how to get the certification, and we have summarized in 25 minutes. So I hardly for a beginner it will take around 25 to 40 minutes to complete the certification and get the swags. So all the further details I'll be sharing that to you later. So I thought this would be a good opportunity if you kind of missed the email communication from our side. So by saying that, we will be heading to today's live session, and we have Ashita Prasad over here. Ashita, welcome to the live session, and
Yeah,
she would
thanks
be
again.
our first live speaker on this particular GSOC extended program. And about her, she been also a project admin last program, and it's been amazingly maintained repo. I've been personally seen the contribution, and it is something else. So she would be the better person to talk about open source, and we are also including the Gen AI in open source to be as a topic here. So this would definitely help you in case to understand more in depth of how the generative AI is applied in open source or something like that. So by saying that, I don't want to waste much more time of yours. So I'm passing to you so you can take over the session. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'll quickly share my screen. Yes, so I hope my screen is visible. So, hi everyone. I'm Ashita, and a little bit, let me give you a brief background about myself. I did my undergrad from IIT Kanpur and my MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, and I am a Google developer expert for Dart and Flutter. And I am also the founder of Flutter Gems, Because while creating Flutter apps, one of the key challenges that I faced was to efficiently find good third party packages that are available that I could, quickly use to integrate components or even add new features in my app, which is why I started building Flutter Gems, which is a visual guide for the package Flutter package ecosystem and has well categorized Dart and Flutter packages. Flutter Gems has received lots of love from the community and is being used by more than 2 million Flutter developers today. I also run a FOSS developers group community on Discord, which you can join using this given bit.ly link, or you can simply scan the QR code. So, here in this group, you can ask any questions that you have related to this talk or any other open source technology. And here on this server, currently, we have a lot of builders from across the globe. And we also have a lot of generative AI builders. And you can actually have a lot of interesting discussions with people on a lot of topics. So, I'll give you 30 seconds to actually join the group. So, let's move ahead. I have also created API Dash, which is actually a Google Summer of Code mentor organization this year. So, for people who don't know about Google Summer of Code, Google Summer of Code is basically a program that is run by Google to bring new excited contributors into open source communities. And Google pays the contributor of up to $3,000 for a project completed. So API Dash has been a Google Summer of Code mentor organization in 2024. And API Dash is an open source API client, which is an alternative to Postman and has been built from scratch using Flutter. So in API Dash, you can easily test and explore APIs. You can preview multimedia API responses like PDF, as you can see on the screen, image, audio, as well as videos. And not only that, you can also generate API integration code in Dart as well as a lot of other programming languages. And currently, it is the only API client in the market which generates Dart code. And this makes me super proud. So now, let's take a step forward and try to understand what are large language models before we get into open source generative AI. So here on the screen, you can see a visual map of the history of the development of the language model. And as such, if you look, language modeling is not a new concept. We've been trying to do it since the 90s, starting with statistical language models like n-grams, which used probability and statistics to be able to predict the next word in the sequence. Then, in the new millennium, we had neural language modeling. And what it did was it started leveraging neural networks to predict the probabilities of subsequent words within sequences. And word to vec was a very important development during this time as it helped in converting words into dense numerical representations. And what this did was this made words with similar semantics closer together in the vector space. Then in 2011, Google Brain was launched. And what it did was it provided researchers with access to powerful computing resources and data sets along with advanced features. And this allowed NLP systems to better understand the context of words. Google Brain's work then paved the way for massive advancements in the field, such as the introduction of transformers models in 2017. And this transformer architecture is the backbone of pre trained language models like BERT and GPT, which were trained on an extensive volume of unlabeled text And this training then enabled them to grasp the fundamental language structures, be it vocabulary, syntax, semantics, logic. What we did then was we started training a massive text corpora on networks which spanned tens of billions of parameters. And this is what enabled us to create larger and more sophisticated models called LLMs that we use today profoundly. Now, these LLMs include OpenAI's GPT-3, GPT-4, Llama, Gemini, and today these LLMs are serving as the foundation for building incredible AI driven applications. So, here is the list of some of the most popular LLMs. You have OpenAI's GPT-4 and O1. You have Anthropic's Claude 3.5. You have Mistral and the Mixtral model. You have Meta's Llama 3.1, 3.2, which has just come recently. You have Google's Gemini. You have Alibaba's Quen. And you have DeepSeek's DeepSeek Coder as well as DeepSeek model. So if you closely look, the average context window for a lot of these LLMs is around 128K. But only Google Gemini provides a context window of 2 million tokens. So a context window of LLMs is nothing, but it is the number of tokens that the model can take as an input when they are generating responses. So because Gemini has the largest context window, you can build more complicated applications using it. So if you want to look at all the models, you can head to Hugging Face and you can actually find the list of all the models. So this is how it looks like. On Hugging Face, you can simply search models and you will get the list of all the models. So one of the most popular open source models in the market today is Meta's Llama. And you can again find it on Hugging Face. Not only that, you can actually use the inference API and you can directly run it on Hugging Face itself, like you can see on the screen, to quickly see if the model suits your needs. Now, let us move to applications of LLMs. So, LLMs have found themselves to be really useful in the field of chatbots and virtual assistants. Today, across companies, if you are using a customer chat, it is highly probable that you are going to interact with an LLM and not an actual person. And the reason for this is because LLMs can generate responses that are contextually relevant as well as it can maintain coherence throughout the dialogue. And this widespread adoption of chatbots and virtual assistants is a testament to the growing use of LLMs. The second most popular use case is in the field of copywriting or generating content. So, whether you write a LinkedIn post today, or you create a marketing material, or you are writing a product description, etc., there is high chances that you're going to use an LLM for it. The reason being that it can generate beautiful copies and it has simply reduced the time that is required to generate marketing material or produce any kind of quality content. The other use case is in the code generation field. A lot of you must be using Cursor, GitHub Copilot, etc. to generate code using LLMs, because LLMs again can write code in a variety of languages and very quickly as well. And they can also generate front end code as well as create SQL queries from simple natural language prompts. And one of the other use cases is in the translation industry. So again, LLMs are being used heavily in the translation industry because they can generate human like translations very quickly without any intervention. So now there is also another category of models apart from LLMs, which are called vision language models or VLMs. So vision language models are broadly defined as multimodal models that can learn from images and text. They are basically a type of generative models that take image and text inputs and can generate text outputs. Large vision language models have good zero shot capabilities. They can generalize well, and they can work with many types of images, including documents, web pages, and others. And the use cases basically include chatting about images, image recognition via instructions, visual question answering, document understanding, image captioning, etc. And some vision models, language models, can also output bounding boxes or segmentation masks when prompted to do so. And they can also segment a particular subject, or they can also localize different entities and even answer questions about their relative or absolute positions. So, in this image on your screen, you can see how vision language model is capable of understanding the image and answering various questions. So, let us quickly take a look at it. So, there is this image of two cats. When I ask the VLM, is one cat behind another? The VLM responds, yes, one cat is behind the other in the image. The cat in the back is facing the camera, while the cat in the front, it is facing away from the camera. If I ask it to segment a striped cat, which is nothing but a zero shot segmentation, the VLM you can see is able to segment both the cats. One is marked in red and one is marked in a teal color. Then the third question, if when I ask what is the breed of these cats, you can see that the vision language model says that the cats in the image appear to be domestic short hair cats. Then you can also do one shot learning with instructions where I'm saying it that striped cats are called tabby cats. What is the breed of the cats in the image? And the VLM is able to correctly infer and says the cats in the image are tabby cats. Tabby cats are a common domestic cat breed and are characterized by their distinctive coat pattern, stripes on the body, and a ringed tail. So you can see how powerful vision language models are. So this is the general architecture of a vision language model, and it consists of an image and a text encoder to generate the embeddings, which are then fused in an image text fusion layer. And this fused vector is then passed through an LLM to generate the final visually aware generated text. So these are some of the popular LLMs that we have today in the market. All of them are open source. We have Lava, we have DeepSeek VL by DeepSeek AI, we have Phi 3 Vision by Microsoft, and Pali Gamma by Google. So we'll now quickly take a look at the open source model by Google, which is called Gemma. So Gemma is a family of lightweight, state-of-the-art open models, and they are built from the same research and technology that has been used to create their proprietary closed-source Gemini models. So currently, Gemma is available in 4 parameter sizes. You have the 2B parameter, the 7B parameter, and 9B and 27B parameter models. You get them both in instruction tuned and pre-trained versions. And there are four models in the Gemma model. You have the normal Gemma model, which takes text as an input and gives text as an output, and it is used for text generation, summarization, and extraction. You have the code Gemma model, which again takes text as an input and gives text as an output, and it is best used for code generation and completion. You have the Polygamma model, which we just discussed is a vision language model. It can take both image and text as an input and gives text as an output. And it is used for image captioning and visual question answering. And you have the recurrent gamma model, which takes text as an input and gives text as an output. And it requires less memory than gamma and achieves faster inference. So again, you can find Gemma. All these models are open source. You can find it on Kaggle. You can find it on Hugging Face as well. So now let's move to AI agents. But before we get into AI agents, let us take a look at the typical flow that is employed to interact with LLMs. So how do you actually interact with LLMs? As a user, you ask a question, which is then sent to an LLM, and the LLM gives you an answer. Simple, right? So let's move ahead. Now, what are AI agents? AI agents are software programs that can interact with its environment, collect data, and use that data to perform self determined tasks to achieve a predefined goal. So basically, humans set goals, but an AI agent independently chooses the best actions it needs to perform to achieve those goals. So, in other words, they are autonomous intelligence systems that can perform specific tasks. But now your question will be that if you give a prompt or if you ask a question to an LLM and you get an answer, do you actually need an AI agent? What is it that the AI agent can do that an LLM cannot? So let me explain that to you with an example. Say this is me and I am planning a travel vacation. I want to visit Mangalore and I'm trying to find the best time to visit Mangalore. So I go ahead, pick up an LLM and ask it, what's the best time to visit Mangalore? Now the LLM replies the best time to visit Mangalore is from October to February, right? Anything missing? So I'll give you 30 seconds to quickly write in the chat box or in the comment if you feel anything is missing or if you feel that we are done. I asked a question and I got an answer and I don't need anything else. Okay, cool. Let's move ahead. So, yes, things were missing. What was missing? It did not ask me about my personal preference. Say, what if I want to avoid the festival season as I want to be home during Diwali? It did not ask me about some specific places or activities that I have in my mind. Say, I might be wanting to travel for adventure purposes. Then Dehradun will be a right choice. Goa might not be the best choice. And it did not take into account any unpredictable weather issues that might occur during that time. Then it did not take into account the tourist season. It did not take into account the crowd levels that might be there. Say I am a person who wants to have a simpler peaceful vacation. It didn't ask me my preference again. Then the most important thing, it did not ask the duration of my stay or the budget that I have allocated to my trip. Like that is a very, very key point which we consider while planning our vacations. But the LLM did not care to ask anything about it. Then it did not take into account any political unrest or any safety issues that say I as a woman traveler need to be aware of. Right? It didn't ask me anything about it. So what should I do now? Should I sit, make a list of all these, and keep on asking the LLM, keep on prompting again and again to try to figure out the right answer? No. What I do is I go to my trusty friend Rob, who's my travel agent. And what will Rob do? Rob, my travel agent, is going to call upon the general purpose LLM for basic information history, for basic location, and such knowledge. And then it is going to call upon its tools, which are external resources, and it can be various databases, other models, other knowledge bases, as well as APIs, which Rob will then utilize to perform specific tasks and to be able to enhance its capabilities. So Rob will then go ahead and call upon its team. It will call its weather check agent, whose prime sole purpose of existing is to check the weather and let me know if there are any unpredictable weather patterns that might occur. It will call upon its real time news agent, who's going to scour the news to see if there is any political unrest or any other issue. It's going to call upon its safety evaluator agent, who is again going to scour the internet for me to see if it is safe as a woman traveler to travel alone. Then it is going to use various tools to determine the price, duration, crowd levels, etc. So, an example can be that it can use an API and send a request to make my trip to figure out the price, duration, and then give me the right time to visit. So, this entire system where all these multiple agents are collaboratively working together to solve a common goal, which is to make my Mangalore trip awesome, is called an agentic system. So, this is basically the conceptual framework of an LLM based agent. And as you can see, it has three components: brain, perception, and action. So, the brain module is basically the controller, and it does all the basic tasks like memorizing, thinking, and decision making. And typically, LLMs are employed as the primary component of the brain for these agents. The perception module is basically responsible for perceiving and processing all the multimodal information that comes from the external environment, and the action module carries out the execution using tools and can influence its surroundings. So are you now confused as to what is the difference between an LLM and an agent? So, simply put, from a user perspective, you don't give a prompt to an agent, you just provide the goal. So, agent is all about the goal, and agent then automatically works to figure out the relevant sequence of steps and the tools or the functions to call, plan, and perform the tasks that is ultimately needed to achieve that goal. So, that is simply put the crux of an agent. Whereas when you interact with LLMs, you have to constantly give prompts. So if you're interested in figuring out how other open source apps have been built in Flutter across various categories, be it generative AI or other categories like food, etc. So you can check out this GitHub repo and check out the section, check out all the various categories that are there, and you can find some of the most popular open source Flutter apps here. So you can head to github.com, Fluttergems, awesome open source Flutter apps. And that's it from my side. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them. So you can join the Discord server using this bit.ly link or the QR code, and you can connect with me on any of my socials. Thank you.
Thank you. That was pretty much all about the LLMs and everything. And thank you for giving a very much brief um, information regarding or precise information regarding the LLM, because whenever it comes to LLM, people tend to think that, okay, it's pretty hard to learn.
Yes.
So even I was learning from you. There was like I was not sure about what it was VLM is all about. So it was a good learning in terms of how to what is LLM and VLM. Again, it's like an ocean for the contributor who are watching. So you have to deep dive into it. So maybe Akshita would be the right person for you to go and learn about it. And in terms of LLM, if you might have noticed that GitHub Copilot, so they are everywhere right now. Even if you open your dashboard and if you have a subscription to GitHub Copilot, you will see those AI chatbot over there, and which is basically working on LLMs, and they are very powerful. They can do the code reviews right now, and it's very scary as well. So let's see how we are heading with the LLM and VLMs in the future. So I hope maybe in the future none of us has to be as a developer or coder. So all the things will be managed by the chatbots. But yeah, again, there will be other opportunities for us to explore or dig our hands into it. So by saying that, thank you Akshita for joining today's live session, and we will be sharing the relevant links to our contributors throughout the newsletters or maybe a Discord communication. So yeah, and keep doing the amazing contribution towards the community. Thank you.
Thank you.